Let's do this then. Third time lucky. To the bottom right hand side, we're going to have our blue Terran player from Riot Esports. Let's hear it, guys. You're going to be cheering on Coffee. Looking to make it 2 players from Riot Esports into the round of 8 today, after Cyan advanced yesterday. And as we have to the upper left, our red Protoss player. It is going to be the one, the only, PartinG. Come on, guys, I want to hear. So, is anyone genuinely? I want to hear if anyone is genuinely hyped for PartinG, because I really am hyped for PartinG, but I'm not sure. Like, is this just something that's just me, or is it everyone else? Like, I think it's crazy that we've seen PartinG play. I'm really excited to see what he's going to come out with, because I just don't know what to expect at all. So, let's see how this goes. We're just going to be having this SCV scan around, moving around the mineral line, just going to be jumping through there. And just see a second gas being taken right now by PartinG. So second gas being taken, a probe coming back into mine from the main base as well. I'm going to be seeing a command center coming down on the natural expansion, and a reactor coming up on this barracks also. Just setting up into this as we see a single marine moving out onto the map, looking to see if he can find any sort of proxy or anything very early in the game. PartinG not going for anything like that though. PartinG is currently playing a very standard opening with that Nexus on the way down. Same as the Terran player, just has his command center on the way down. So both players standard openings, no shockers here in the very early stages of the game, and we just wait to see what this will develop into. We already see the factory down for Coffee, so most likely something along the lines of a Widow Mine drop in the early stages. We'll see what PartinG wants to go into with his Robo now on the way down. I mean, Coffee did actually not go, he went into a Marine, into a Reactor. He didn't mess around going into a Reaper or anything, so he doesn't have that much scouting potential. As PartinG's Robo is coming in, I mean, not really hidden or anything, it's not really super early. But we'll see if he adds the Twilight on as well, and there it is. So Robo-Twilight combo, very standard sort of setup to play out this game. Not really anything that's kind of too much of a surprise here, I wouldn't say. So you're going to see this Adept kind of coming across. We're just going to see Marines starting to work their way against it. So Adept just going to be pushed over to the right-hand side. And it's going to be seeing that depot lifting up over here. As that Adept just wants to check what he can spot before cancelling his shade. So just try and pick up as much information as possible, as we are going to be seeing that siege tank just on the way out right now. And that starport is going to be finishing up in the very near future as well. So, Coffee just going to be finishing up this starport. And again, Marines just going to join up together from our Terran player. And, well, more SCVs just on the way out. Now, Blink is coming up for PartinG towards the upper side. Here, we're going to be seeing the Blink is being Crota boosted in. We're going to be seeing the Gateway being added on as well. And Cyclone on the way out to follow up the siege tank. So in the end, it wasn't kind of a Widow Mine or anything. It's just going to be like a very aggressive attack coming in from Coffee. This is something we see quite often here on Frozen Temple. Didn't really mention it this game, kind of in the lead up to this game at all, but it is what we're going to be seeing. So Coffee going to go for this sort of tank marine push, follow up with a Cyclone and probably a Liberator as well once he gets up to 150 gas. He'll get unsupplied buff just a little bit later than he hits 150 gas. You can already see him queuing up that Liberator now. So getting ready to go for this push across the map. PartinG already prepared for this. Second pylon coming up. We see a pylon being built to the side as well. Looking to buy himself a lot of time here. And that's always going to be something that's going to be very important when doing this. As we see the tank coming forwards, we'll unload. And already this first pylon at the front going to start taking some damage. And that's the thing, I mean, the tank gets rid of the pylons and then the Marines can have a very good time on the natural expansion. Now, Blink is on the way up at Warp Prism too. Probably getting a lot of units out here which are going to be able to micro against this sort of army. As two Death Star shade on through. A Cycle knocks onto the second pylon as well, actually, which is very nice. It means it's going to go down very swiftly. Another pylon being added as this Cyclone will move a little bit further forwards. The tank as well. And the tank will just have to pull back a little bit here as the Stalkers. One of them gets locked on, but the Marines are not able to protect that Cyclone there. Cyclone gets picked off. And that's a big loss. Now we do see more units rallying across the map. Stalkers continue to take a lot of damage. While Prism comes out, going to start heading across the map. Blink now in play as well. And so PartinG has a little bit more micro potential with these Stalkers. He's already got 2 Adepts around the side. He's going to go maybe try and surround this or counterattack. Either or kind of works. And as we do see the Liberator coming across here now as well, which makes it even harder to try and defend against this sort of attack, as we're going to be seeing those Adepts in the back getting cleaned up very easily. Overcharged Pylon is also going to drop here pretty swiftly too, as 2 Stalkers just starting to work their way against reinforcements, and this is where Coffee has to just rally back at home instead of rallying across the map. So we see Marines pushing forwards once more. Mothership Core still has some energy on it, so it's something which we're going to see Coffee has to be careful of. Marines going to fight though, and they are going to take that Pylon down, so no Pylon now to the left hand side. 3 Stalkers is on the back, they're going to come in, they're going to try and get rid of that siege tank. Maybe get rid of the Liberator. And they get picked up by the Warp Prism. Tank going to catch you come back. He's going to start fighting against this. Now the Liberator is left alone over here. And we're going to see him blinking through the Liberation Zone and starting to take that down. Coffee obviously kind of content with the damage he's done. Starting to back away. How much can he get away with here? The Marine's still kind of running. The tank will unload to get a shot off. And lifts up once again. Doesn't stop with the Marines. Just keeps running with them. He wants to get back home. He wants to get to reinforcements. 2 more siege tanks ready to go. They've been actually locked in the base. 3 more siege tanks ready to go. They've been locked in the base. Wow. Okay, so there's a lot of siege tanks here. Maybe more than PartinG's expecting. And that's going to be actually a much easier defense than I thought this would be for Coffee. I thought Coffee might struggle a little bit with this, but with that many siege tanks, he's going to be just fine. Now, a turret will come up as well. When you've seen the Twilight Council opening the blink on the way, it's always got to be, you know, got to be aware of a Dark Shrine possibility. And it's exactly what we see PartinG going for. Dark Shrine coming down right now. And we'll finish now in the main base. Now, there's a turret, not in the main. There's actually no turret in the main, but there's plenty of scans available. So, this is something which is not going to be a major issue here. It would be nice to maybe scan, get that observer, get rid of the high ground vision for the future. As PartinG with 3 Dark Templar going towards the main base right now. Heading on into this and going to begin unloading these DTs to see what he can get up to. So GT's going to come in, so start swiping away. Multiple SCVs starting to drop already. There's that scan. PartinG lifts. He'll just move out of scan range, go to the natural, for example. He'll just keep moving around with these Dark Templar. Now, there is a DT turret in the natural expansion. However, this tank doesn't have anything to protect it, really. As the Stalker's coming forwards as well, they're also going to take down a Liberator. He's taking a lot of damage, though. The tank fire helping to clean out a lot of the Stalkers. So PartinG doing some good damage, but also taking some damage here and there as well. As we see DT back into the main base, units come in, 10 workers killed in total. PartinG takes a 13-14 worker lead. Has his 3rd Nexus up and mining. Coffee's ready to move out of his 3rd base though, and his army supply still looks good. His upgrades are on the way up. I don't mind this position too much for our Terran player. I mean, yes, he's taken some damage here and there, but he did damage early, and also PartinG's been throwing away a lot of units to get this damage done. And so the resource slot is fairly similar, and with triple mule in the game, if he does drop those mules, then the economies should be somewhat even. You can see he just dropped a bunch of mules before to spend a bunch of that scan energy, or a bunch of that energy. And that means he doesn't have as many scans as he might have had once, as we're going to see the Stalkers coming in again, picking off a siege tank, and that's the problem with that medevacs. Very hard to keep those siege tanks alive against those Stalkers. Now the medevacs are out, it should be a little bit easier, as we do see Coffee's 3rd base also up and beginning to mine. +1 upgrades coming in right now from PartinG, so +1/+1 is on the way up. 2 more gateways finishing up over here. 3 more SCVs going down as some harassment comes into the main base. Stalkers trying to push forwards once again. This time they are deflected by the Marines, but not before they get another siege tank kill. As Warp Prism, big mistake, going to go down. So Warp Prism falls. Probably one of the kind of first mistakes we've really seen PartinG make, kind of unforced here. Unforced error by PartinG, so a little bit of a shame as you see the Marines just moving forwards, and they're just going to be looking to keep on trading with these Stalkers. So Stalkers just kind of blinking back, blinking away towards the upper left-hand side. I mean, the problem for for Coffee, sorry, is that he really has been in this game building in towards a siege tank sort of playstyle. Yet every single time he's gotten up to a decentish siege tank number, PartinG starts to chip away at that. You know, he takes down a siege tank here and a siege tank there, and all of a sudden we find only 3 siege tanks on the map, whereas at this sort of timing, you'd expect it to be 5 or 6. So the siege tank play not going to be as powerful as you might want it to be at this sort of stage. As PartinG about to take an upgrade lead, moving out onto the map now with his main army. It's the first time we've seen PartinG move onto the map with anything other than just his Blink Stalkers. And as we're going to be seeing plenty of Adepts here, a couple of Mortals as well will help target down those tanks nice and quickly. As we see, well, it's a bad time for those medevacs to be out of position. Scan gets rid of the Observer to begin with. We'll see a stim in. Stalkers will blink to the side to, of course, kind of open up the area a little bit. Force fields come down as these Adepts begin to fall very swiftly. As the Adepts go down, this army becomes a lot weaker for PartinG. He doesn't have anything to tank for it anymore. And Coffee will stim after those units. The Mortals in the front don't have barriers any longer. Nice little pick up there on the second Immortal. The first one already went down, though, unfortunately. As another wave of Adepts, and that might just be what PartinG needs to kind of push on through here. Something a little bit more tanky once again. As we're going to see him thinking about jumping on top of these units. He jumps on top. The Stalkers are so far behind this, though. Nice pick up there. Saves the tank on very low health just to keep it alive a little bit longer. And again, great micro out of Coffee as he tries to stay alive against these few units. We see the Stalkers blinking back once more. More Stalkers warping in. Tanks are going to lift up and, well, they're going to have to re-siege right at the back here because they are so low on health. If the Stalkers even get close to them, they are going to start dropping dead. But the tank's staying alive, and that's going to be a huge play by Coffee. Can we just take a moment to appreciate that micro, because that is literally some of the sickest tank pickups I've seen. Like, he saved 2 of them so low on health, and they are absolutely critical for his continued defense there. As we're going to see now, 2 Liberators coming up will help to solidify this position. And PartinG, already recognizing that his time has passed, has backed away, has pulled back home where he started up Colossus production. Extended Thermal Lance is on the way in the production tab, and those Colossi continuing to roll on out. Single Marine going to be moving forwards from Coffee. Just going to be checking to see if there's a 4th base, and of course there is from PartinG, so he set that up as well behind this. We see 1 probe being saved by the photon overcharge on the pylon. And now we see sort of Coffee. I mean, he's still only on 3 bases, but look at the tank count now. That he's being able to keep them alive a little bit better. He's on 5 tanks, 2 Liberators, 4 Liberators even. I think 2 more might have just popped out, or maybe it was 2 more medevacs that he made. Looks as though it was 2 more medevacs actually. And now we see Coffee pushing across the map. He's going to turn the aggression onto PartinG, and PartinG has lost a lot throughout this. His 2-2 upgrades aren't ready just yet, and so here we go. The Stalker's going to move forward. They're going to try and target down the Liberator. They get 1, but it comes at the cost of a couple of Stalkers. Here come the tanks. They're going to siege up, and, well, if the tanks just continue to do any sort of damage like what they just did there, it's going to be a very scary situation for the Parolers. So we'll see Coffee will just load up the tanks, move up to the high ground now, get in position towards the 3rd base, and this becomes more and more troubling for the Parolers player. The units stim up the ramp once again. He's in a pretty decent concave, and the just sheer amount of DPS that Coffee can put out right now is just so much. We see 2 Colossi still just moving around in the back. They're still alive. Pylon goes down, cancelling the Adept warping though. That's also pretty big. And Coffee playing this patiently, just saying, well, I can hit your 3rd base from here. A scan picks off 2 DTs. A 3rd DT goes down also. Coffee continues to pick away pretty much everything of PartinG, and PartinG whoops in another Dark Templar to try and come forward. See how many scans are still remaining. A couple of Adepts going to come across the map too to try and get some damage done. As we see, the DT is getting damage done. 1 tank has fallen already. A 2nd tank about to fall. There's the scan finally coming in, but after 2 tanks go down, but he has killed off the 3rd base, so good progress by Coffee as he continues to push this position up towards the top side of the map. The Stalkers and the few Colossi towards the north here starting to get kind of closed in on by these kind of tanks as they approach even further forwards. 3 Colossi now is definitely still not something that isn't easy to kind of deal with. But these Liberators can reposition so they're a little bit further forward. Big blink forwards, but the Stalkers take so much damage immediately. And as he spreads out, you can just see here that Coffee will have enough to keep on pushing in. He's going to try to target the Colossi down. Or does he? Actually, those Marauders falling a lot faster than I thought they would. I guess when you're fighting out of range of your Liberators and your tanks, when they make up such a huge chunk of your army, you do have to be a little bit careful. And now there's so many Liberators though that he's in a position where he's just going to cut this army apart. I mean, PartinG can't come through this Liberator and tank setup. So you just got to come in over here. He drops an overcharge, but, well, it's not going to clean up all of these Marauders. 2 DT is going to run down this ramp. And I'm going to start chasing after these Marines and Marauders here. I'm going to see a scan coming in. One of them gets picked off, the other gets out of scan range at least, so that's something. PartinG launching a counterattack as a way to try and maybe rescue this game, but it's not a pretty situation for our Pros player. Not at all. And as Coffee realizes what PartinG's plan is, he'll just start to rally into his main base, keep his production alive, and I mean, he'll just be completely fine. Just needs to get rid of this another Dark Templar across the map. As we see a couple of Marauders coming out. Again, Coffee just needs to make sure he is starting to rally into his main rather than still rallying across the map, because that's, you know, something he just doesn't want. You know, there's no reason for him to do that. Big Autosis pylon there in the center. 2 more DTs though. DTs are starting to clean this up. You know what? PartinG is starting to come back in this game. This counterattack's doing damage. Coffee has not started to rally units into the main until very recently. DTs are beginning to clean up this army across the map. And I think it might have been a better decision for Coffee to just chase the army down, to go back home. An overcharge here is going to do a little bit more damage. He's getting rid of a lot of units. PartinG is starting to make this happen. An orbital command going to go down as every orbital falls, or as each orbital falls, that's less potential to clean up Dark Templar, and DT weapons will become more powerful. PartinG's still not really got much production left over. He's whooping in 2 more gateways over to this side. Liberator comes in. If he wasn't in range of a cannon, that might have been somewhat decent, but goes down now. And still Colossi Stalkers. I mean, 2 Liberators over towards the front. They'll siege up. We have a turret here as well. Coffee's not going to die just yet. PartinG, I don't think, can go any further into this base. These Marauders just going to pick off this Cybernetics core. So PartinG can't really go any further into this base. So Coffee keeps his production alive, which is important. He's about to be heavily supply blocked though, losing multiple depots at the front of his base. We're going to be seeing the depots going down. So he's going to need a couple more of those. There's only 2 Stalkers over here. That's the problem here for PartinG. He doesn't actually have that many units elsewhere. He doesn't have that much production elsewhere other than across the map. And I'm not sure why Coffee doesn't try and make a move in towards this base. I mean, he's only 2 Stalkers. It's a great opportunity for him Instead, he starts to pull back. There's a DT currently chasing him. He does have a scan in a moment, or you actually already dropped one. He doesn't have, I guess he's got Liberators to try and get the Observer, but gets out of range. As the Colossi coming in over here. The units collecting together, and I mean, Partin has actually got money. He's got some gateways now as well, so he's warped in a couple of Adepts to join this. Stalker's blinking forwards, picking off 1 Liberator, 2 Liberators. That's important. Those are important, expensive units that are a big factor here in the defense and in the general army of Coffee. As Coffee continues to run back in towards Partin's main, it seems he sends 2 Liberators across the map towards the 3rd base, or the 4th base. But that 4th base is still, you know, got a mothership core on it, plenty of pylons. There's no way them Liberators are going to do damage over there. These Marauders over here will have to lift and get away. Stalkers may try and blink after to chase. You're going to see the Marauders unloading once more. Mothership core drops the overcharge. Colossi a little bit stuck here. One Colossus picked up by the Warp Prism though. Cool little bit of micro by Parting. He's pulling ahead here, and he's going to pick off these Medivacs to put him in an even better position. And Coffee is really starting to just lose this game, which he really should have never lost. As we see him continue to just drop down in supply. He's 30 supply down now. This is not pretty for him. 2 more Liberators being made, and he's got a base to this left-hand side. He floated his main base orbital over there, so he's got some mining. But it should have never come down to this, and that's got to be somewhat annoying, you know, frustrating for him here. He's playing against now these Colossi of just pure bio. When he had tanks and Liberators, it was okay. He could hold positions, but now he can't do that. Now he just has to sit and deal with this, and I mean, Partin just has so much. The Colossi cleave their way through these bio units, and Partin's done it. He's made the comeback in this game, and he decided to go across that map and counterattack. With the DTs continue to just work their way through the units on the other side, on his own side of the map. That's when this game fell apart for Coffee, and that's going to be GG. Partin takes Terran player in the last game, meaning that Coffee, our blue Terran to the bottom right side from Rai Esports, finds himself 1 game down. To the upper left, it's going to be our red Protoss player. Ladies and gentlemen, let me hear it if you're cheering on PartinG. Again, how's everyone doing? Welcome to the NSL International. I'm Wardy, bringing you all the English coverage of this event throughout the week. Hope you're all enjoying the game so far, as Partin says Partin Imber, as a response to P Imber. If you are enjoying the games, don't forget, hit that follow button on the stream, see when I go live again in the future. I am currently full-time casting, commentating StarCraft 2, bringing you guys StarCraft content throughout the week. So if you do enjoy, hit that follow button, see when I'm live again in the future. Again, I'm live pretty much every single day with some kind of content, so if you enjoy StarCraft, I would unbiasedly say, can you say unbiasedly? I would say, in an unbiased manner, you should hit the follow button. But look at this, Partin with a double gas opening. He's going to play the proxy game here at the start of game number 2. Coming across the map with this probe, most likely going to be a Stargate, right next to the Terran's main base. Now the Terran player also going to be playing a little bit cheeky in this game. He opens with double gas, meaning that we're going to see that fast factory coming down. And we're going to be seeing the pylon also being added on here by Partin to the right hand side. So pylon coming into the right, getting ready to add on that Stargate in the very near future. Again guys, every single match in this group stage has $1,300 on the line. $1,300 split between the players based on how many maps they take in the series. If you win 2-0, you win $1,300. If you win 2-1, you take $800, $400 split, or something along those lines. $60,000 up for grabs over the entire week. It's crazy how much is up for grabs here, as we see that Stargate literally building next to the Terran player's mineral line. However, because it's a one-base play from Coffee, this might not be so bad for him. Adding on the Widowmine right now. We might even see an Oracle into like Void Rays to be super aggressive towards the front. Definitely a possibility, as we're going to be seeing now. More Marines on the way out. And Partin just continues to set up into this. He's building in his mothership core across the map with an Adept as well. So, going to look to pressure the front. Already has that probe ready to come into. I'm going to look to distract on multiple fronts here. As this Widowmine going to get into not quite the position it wants to be in. Wants to get a little bit closer to that refinery. So, he's burrowed in the perfect place right now. Coffee doesn't know that Stargate is there, but just has that, you know, it's a good location for the Widowmine. It's actually a very common location for the Widowmine here on this map. Let's see if Partin realizes it. He does actually send himself towards the front now, where he's looking to maybe pick off some Marines. Inside the mineral line, he goes in, Widowmine, gets the kill. Oracle goes down very early. Good defense so far out of our Terran players. We see him moving forwards now. He's going to kill off the Adept. He's going to kill the Mothership Core as well. Okay, recalls back home. I was going to say, he doesn't want to kind of not chase that, but if it's going to recall, it's going to recall. As you're going to see another Widowmine popping out, we're going to see Marines loading up into it, and we're going to see now the build from Coffee coming into play, which is going to be that Widowmine and 6 Marines going across the map with Hellions behind it. Another Oracle though, and I mean, now there's absolutely nothing to defend the mineral line. I'm not sure why Coffee decides to move across the map here when he has nothing to realistically defend. There's going to be a lot of SCVs going down. He pulls away already. PartinG is actually losing a lot of time here on the Oracle, where he's losing energy but not killing that many SCVs, wasting time on a depot as well. As we see the Hellions going to run in, the natural expansion going to take some damage, and honestly this will probably end up being cancelled. And this Oracle now out of energy has not been super successful. A Liberator on the way, that's a good way for him to eventually clean this up. A Cyclone trying to build, but he's supply blocked because the depot got forced to stop building. So he needs to finish that depot because the Cyclone here is going to become very important very swiftly. Oracle actually going to come back across the map to get some detection here to deal with the Widowmine. Only one Stalker in the main base right now, and PartinG is under a lot of pressure. There's the overcharge coming down to the right side. Obviously he had to use a the kind of recall to get back home with the membership core previously, and that means that right now he only has an energy for 2 recalls, and that's very important to keep in for 2 for overcharges. So he doesn't have that much energy, and so Coffee can come back over to this side. We're going to see the Widowmine getting targeted down. One Stalker falls though. Marines and the Hellions continue to push forwards here. Marines will get rid of the mothership core. Hellions will continue to work their way through the Stalker. Now they'll start onto the mineral line as well. As probes going down, SCV's going down to Oracles, but they're eventually getting cleaned up with a Cyclone now in position also. We see Stalkers continue to take damage here. Probes surround. As the Liberator comes across, there's not actually going to be any anti-air for PartinG. I mean, he can warp in some more Stalkers, but that's not the best of situations. We're going to be seeing the Liberator just has to protect herself right now. They're going to start warping in once again. The Stalkers will start to take a little bit of damage. They will get to the other side though, and we'll start to focus down the Liberator, which tries to pull away. Will not be in time. Coffee losing that unit there. PartinG's natural expansion did come up, and now Coffee only just starts his own. So while Coffee holds a little bit of a lead from this opening, he still has to be careful, because at this point in time, it's still very possible that he kind of falls back behind again, because his command center is so laid down on that natural expansion. You're going to see the Cyclone locking onto a Stalker towards the front, chasing that Stalker back a little bit. The Cyclone will start to be targeted. Nice little pick up there, but a little bit too early. Again, cancelling the lock on to the Stalker there as we see the lift up. The Medevac doesn't have a boost though. It's a little bit risky. Them Stalkers maybe could have chased a little while longer. Doesn't want to risk it though. PartinG playing it safe right now. Phoenix coming across the map. Phoenix very good against the Cyclones because they can lift them up to cancel the lock-on effect. And that's exactly what he needs right now to stop these Cyclones from continuing to lock on. Multiple more Stalkers going down. Mothership caught the front, not going to do anything. Nice pick up again by Coffee as he picks up one of those Cyclones. The other Cyclone getting lifted. The Marines can target that Phoenix down though. It's another expensive loss from PartinG. And I mean, we just slowly see Coffee continuing to rally across the map, and PartinG is slowly beginning to fall a little bit. This is so frustrating for Coffee when he wins this game, because it really should have been a 2-0, and he's going to have to keep that in mind. You know, he has to try and take that out of his mind, actually, more than anything, as he goes into Game 3. Just think, you know, play my games one at a time. Maybe keep it in mind to some extent and say, oh, you know what, actually, I've had a very good start to 2 games in a row. Surely I can make this happen in a 3rd game in a row as well. Maybe I should feel confident about continuing in this, as we see the Marines continue to fight against Stalkers. Another Cyclone lock-on. Continue to do a little bit more damage. Gets out of range, that Stalker does. So again, Coffee's cleaned up. Maybe needs to just take a moment or two to regather himself. Another Liberator coming out. Potential for some more damage, as we see a 9-worker lead with the orbital command on the natural now morphing in. Definitely would say that Coffee has done a good job at keeping his lead, maintaining his lead, while he gets that expansion up. Now we are going to see Macfield Accelerator coming in. Obviously it seems as though he's going to be continuing to build Cyclones for a while. So continues the Cyclones in the early stages of this game. See this first pylon getting locked on, taken down very swiftly. And this Stargate as well is continuing to take some damage now, as we're going to be seeing the Cyclone not in range to lock on, perhaps? Doesn't look like it. Oh, there we go. So locking on, just going to get a little bit of extra damage onto the Stargate, as we do see the Oracle just flying around. May look to try and get some damage on itself here in the very near future. As I see that Oracle continue coming down to the south side, getting ready to run on into that main base in the next few moments. I think that one pylon there might be out of range of the Cyclones for now. Might need to see a Medevac coming out to drop some Marines down there to help out against it. I don't think that might, you know, might not even see that though, because we see these units moving forwards. And as the turret finishes up, we will see it pushing the Oracle away. I mean, these units moving forwards, they should just go across the map. There's no real reason for Coffee to be passive once again. He knows he's been trading well. He knows he's got good economy in comparison to his opponent. So he should know that he's got a good chance to move across the map and do damage, especially with this sort of early game setup of units that are just so powerful. Liberators, Cyclones really do excel in the earlier stages of the game, and that's exactly what we're going to see before Blink comes into play or anything. While Partin's still stuck on gateway units himself, this is a huge tech advantage for the Terran player, and he wants to push this here. He wants to make use of that. As we see right now, already once Liberator sieging up towards the back of the natural expansion, so Partin losing some workers, has to stop mining for a little while. There's the Cyclones locking on, the scan going to help him to pick them off. The Mag Field Accelerator coming into play for the extra damage as well. I see the Marines moving forwards, another lock on, and those Stalkers, they're just going to keep on dying. Mothership Core will also go down, so Coffee needs to be careful, just needs to pull out away from the kind of front overcharge range. As we see these probes coming in, a little bit of an auto lock on to the probes there, a little bit of a waste. But as the workers go down, you can just see the sheer number of units here is just going to favour the Terran player. GG from Partin, and Coffee is going to take game number 2. And he's going to tie this series up 1 game apiece. Introduce our players. The bottom right hand side, our blue Terran from Rai Esports. It's going to be Coffee. Again, can I just say, this guy's micro has been stellar throughout this series so far. Those tank pickups back on Frozen Temple are still sort of blowing sectors of my mind apart. And game 2, just really good little, pieces of control, little kind of pickup micro as well from the Cyclones, keeping them safe and so on. It was really, really, it was a lot of really cute micro out of Coffee in both games so far. I really like this guy's micro up until now. It's been very enjoyable. As to the bottom left-hand side, we're going to be seeing our red Protoss player. It is PartinG. As we set up into this, have a look to see how things are going to be going. It's New Gettysburg, which is worth mentioning, talking about a little bit, of course, as well as the map. I mean, New Gettysburg as a map is a map where it's large, it's macro. It's one of these maps where you expect to see a longer macro-based game. And so, as we see this SCV coming in towards the natural and main base, we'll see kind of an expansion coming up here early from Partin. We should see the same thing from Coffee. And this is going to be a game where we're more likely to see the game going in towards the 10, 15, 20 minute marker rather than on Frozen Temple, although we did see a longer game on Frozen Temple. But rather than kind of the last map we saw, King Sejong, this is a map which doesn't really kind of promote the early aggression as much. Now, one thing I will say in contrary to that is that it is, I feel personally, a very good map for Protoss to throw a 2-base all-in on sometimes, because first of all, there's a chance that the Terran decides, well, you know what, it's a good macro map, so maybe I'll try and play a bit greedy than usual. Maybe I don't take a second gas, maybe I go for fast free CC. Immediately, that's a great thing to throw your 2-base all-in at. Second of all, it's actually somewhat difficult to actually scout with a Reaper on this map. Not really any major entrances into the main base without jumping up very obvious locations. And so it's very easy to deny scouting on a lot of the main base sort of tech structures, although you can see the natural gases very easily. So that's something which can be worth keeping in mind as well. I don't know. When I kind of play against pros, I struggle to scout, and 2-base all-ins have always kind of screwed me over on this map more so than others, but I feel as though it's something you can do. Obviously, it doesn't really look to be what PartinG is doing this time around. He opens with the Stargate, which can also be very popular on this map because it is close by air. With the close by air spawns, you are going to be looking to kind of utilize that air control, and he might go into an Oracle followed up by Phoenix and really just look to control this air sort of location. He might go Oracle into a Void Ray, and actually that's something we oftentimes see here on New Gettysburg as well, where the Void Ray comes out, and the Void Ray sits to this like left-hand side, like here, or over here, in this sort of drop-in location. And it means that if any Medivacs fly through this sort of bottom sides of the map, which is where they're very likely to move through if there's going to be any sort of drop play, then, if they move through that sort of direction, the Void Ray should pick off one of them if PartinG spots it on time and pops that prismatic alignment. As we're going to be seeing, use a couple of adepts just moving through. Just going to be seeing the adepts just cancelling. You're going to see the Marines moving forwards. I'm just going to push those couple of adepts back. You're going to see those couple of adepts looking up to go to the high ground. You can see a third Nexus being added on by PartinG as well. So just taking the third Nexus, 2 adepts in the Oracle will come forwards. I mean, there's plenty of Marines here though, and those Marines should be able to defend against this without any real issues. So pushing this back, no problem so far. As we do just see Oracle peels away, 3 workers killed, and a 4th as well. A good little bit of damage here early on. So what's going on elsewhere on the map? I mean, we do see just a Phoenix built by Pine. I don't know, I prefer the Void Ray. I mean, one Phoenix is not going to pick off a drop in time. It'll give you warning of a drop, but it won't pick it off, you know? I'd like to see the Void Ray instead, because the Void Ray does the exact same thing, only actually has more utility in terms of actually killing the drop and actually stopping it as well. Going to be seeing a robot facility going to be finishing up here from PartinG. So robot facility finishes up. 2 more gateways being added by our Protoss player. I was going to see that mothership core just moving towards the, just moving up past the natural and towards the 3rd base as well, I imagine. Phoenix here just going to be patrolling. And, yeah, just sort of setting up into this. I mean, not really too much going on. We are going to see Resonating Glaives out of PartinG as his first upgrade off the Twilight Council. So going into this Twilight Council, we're going to be seeing kind of Resonating Glaives is coming up to being about halfway done. That's going to give the Adepts kind of a lot of potential to kind of do a lot of damage, and combined with Phoenix, they can be very annoying to kind of play against. So, you know, the Phoenix can come in, they can take down things such as Medivacs and Liberators and Widowmines, and when you get rid of those, the Adepts become a lot more powerful, obviously. So, see how it goes. We see the first drops of the game being set up as we have Coffee beginning to move across the map with 2 sets of Medivacs. One Medivac with 2 mines in it, and 2 more Medivacs with Marines in, looking to see what the best direction might be for them to take in towards the Protoss base in the near future. As he's going to unload over here. Oh, he is actually revelated, so we're going to see immediately PartinG will know that this drop is over here, so he sees that. And maybe PartinG even, Coffee even using this as a bit of a bait to take Coffee's attention away from the fact that there is a drop coming in towards his 3rd base in the next couple of moments. So that might be something which we could keep in mind to see that drop. Looking as though it might actually go into the natural instead. Very quick response though by Coffee, already moving into position. The Phoenix will come in, lift 1 and 2 Widow Mines. And those Widow Mines will be kept busy for now, as you see. Force field over here, 4 overcharge goes down. These Marines are unable to trade with those Adepts, and they're going to be pushed back away. So unsuccessful attack here initially from Coffee. PartinG defending very well so far. Good defense, and well, Coffee just going to have to kind of pin himself back for a while. And I mean, what's he actually going to be going for here? He's only on 3 racks for now. We don't see a 4th and 5th racks. We don't see a 3rd CC. So no commitment to anything just yet. Nice little lift up as he sees those Adepts coming forwards. Oracle finds another revelation on all of the Medivacs as well, so he's always going to be able to keep track of where those units are. Coffee currently forgetting his combat shields. That's something he does need to try and get going for himself ASAP. That extra health on the Marines can help out a lot, as we see. Oracle will go down here as Coffee turns to trade momentarily. Continue to pull away a couple of Widow Mines. Very, very essential in terms of getting rid of a lot of the shields on those Adepts, as the Phoenix going to fly right into those. Well, 2 Phoenix going down very swiftly there. Definitely not the best of situations, as we see those Marines stimming forwards. And just looking to continue picking away at multiple Adepts. Another Adept moving forwards there from PartinG. And just going to continue kind of moving forwards. We're going to see these Adepts coming in. Starting to pick away at a bunch of these SCVs. So Marines just continue to stim forwards once again. And again, picking off a few more Adepts as they actually shade back over towards the 3rd base. Delay that for a while. 9 workers killed. PartinG looking a little bit more comfortable in game number 3 than he has done in the previous series. As we're going to be seeing these Adepts. It's going to shade forwards again. A couple of Widow Mines do burrow. Adepts will not commit to that one though. Smart choice out of PartinG, because the last thing he wants to do is start throwing Adepts away for no reason. Comes back in, delays the 3rd again. And Coffee just in this constant dance back and forth with these Adepts right now. So constantly having to move back and forth, figure out what exactly is going on here as I see the Marines still without combat shields. That's a big mistake if Coffee doesn't fix this somewhere in the near future. We're going to be seeing those Marines moving forward. They're going to try to get rid of a Adept or 2. We're going to see those Marauders continue to work their way against a few of these Adepts. So as the Marines coming forwards once more, I'm just going to be seeing these units continuing to get cleaned out. Wow, very easily cleaned out there. Boom. As we're going to be seeing those units from Coffee. They're just going to gather together. We're going to see another Widow Mine popping out. See a big load up. So he's going to go for a big drop. Now again, that Phoenix is still down to this south side, so you will get a pretty good warning of this coming in. And actually, he already sees with the Observer too. So he comes in and starts to target down one of the lower health Medivacs with the Phoenix. Just trying to get a little bit more damage onto it. He already stops this drop from coming in. So he's already done half the job here. Stalker's moving forwards, looking to see what they can pick off. Blink now in the game. Blinking forwards. A few Marines actually stick around. This A move back home from Coffee is not working out for him too well. And he realizes it a little bit later as well. So a lot of Marines going down without gaining very much. I wouldn't mind borrowed here, but in range of an observer. As we'll see, more Prism in towards the main base. The depth starting to get damage done already. A Widowmine picked off. Multiple workers down and more to go. As we see, workers actually pulling back into the base too early here. 12, 13, 15 workers falling. There's a lot of damage being done. We see those Adepts, they're going to commit back over to the north side of this base. The Marines and Marauders are going to continue to work their way through these Adepts. They fall. As a couple more Liberators pop out, we'll see that War Prism getting away up the right-hand side of the map. 16 workers down here in total now from Coffee, as those two Liberators are going to be giving chase to him. Nexus on the way as a fourth base back at home from PartinG. He's once again got into this Colossus follow-up from his early stage of the game, so he's going into Colossi once more. This is what he did back in game number 1 on Frozen Temple. As we see a blink forwards here, PartinG going to start working his way through these rocks, give himself access to other locations out on the map. We'll see those rocks going down then, and we'll continue to see this army move across from PartinG. I mean, just throughout the game, he's created such a good advantage for himself. He's shut down drops time after time. He's actually lost more resources than Coffee, but he's kept Coffee's resource count so low because he's been killing so many workers. So Coffee's not being able to really kind of use make anything here. As we see multiple units building up once again, and Coffee might just go for a big drop once more, completely unaware because of his lack of map control that there's a big push coming in over here. 2 Liberators go down immediately. Coffee has to unload. He has to try and find a way to fight into this, but it's not going to be easy at all. He's going to be fighting up a choke point in towards a Colossus, and I mean, if he doesn't go soon, the SCVs are going to be in trouble. He actually decides, well, you know what, I'm going to load up all my units, go across the map and counterattack. Feels as though a big drop is his way back into the game, so he's going to start moving forwards with that. PartinG starts to target down the low health medevac. It is full of units here. It is going to go down, so that's a lot of units already fallen here initially. This PartinG will just slowly push his way up to the natural. Phone overcharge will almost get another medevac here before things even start. The Colossus and the Adepts are waiting for these units. As we see PartinG continue to push up this ramp at the same time. Coffee looks to be in a lot of trouble here in game number 3. And this really will make that first game so much more painful. The throw that was, he was in such a good position in game number 1. He threw it away, and, well, now he's going to lose the series because of that. Because, if he won that, he would have won game 2, he would have won the series. It would have been $1,300, a chance to play in the winners match against Bly. But he messed up. Now we're going to see the base trade being initiated, but PartinG's already done so much damage across the map, he feels more than safe enough to come back home and just to stop these units from ever getting towards the production lines. And you can just see PartinG with a 60 army supply lead with a 27. He's actually doubling the work count of his opponent, just shy of doubling the work count of his opponent. Might drop a little bit here as these probes get found. I mean, the thing is, though, PartinG is just on the hunt for those medevacs units. He knows his opponent doesn't have mine. He knows his opponent has nothing really right now, and he knows that the only thing he can, really lose to is by letting these, letting these medevacs units do more damage than he needs them to do. So he should let them do. So he's just going to start hunting them down, and he's already re-expanded to a 3rd base, a 4th base. So he's setting up his own economy once again. Now we see big blink forwards to begin, and again, every single Marine that drops here is one less Marine now that PartinG has to worry about. A Marauder left behind. Another big loss for Coffee at this point, because again, he's really not mining, he's not building anything, hasn't done for a while. So everything he loses is really painful for him. As we see the Stalkers blinking forwards, they get one empty medevac. And still another medevac down. Looks as though those medevacs might hide to the top side. Might be time to send that Phoenix up there. Another Liberator being made. The Stalkers are still around. Oh, blinking forwards. He's going to try and get another, not quite in range to make it work out. Warp Prism coming across too. I just send the Warp Prism on the onto those medevacs. I don't think there's a way out for these, especially with the Warp Prism. They're going to be able to keep track of them at all points. Yeah, the Warp Prism just going to chase them around. We'll see. PartinG going to be actually letting them escape from now. No response to that just yet. Not really anything else going on for PartinG. I wonder what he was watching when he let these medevacs get away. Because he's going to get all the way back home. PartinG very slow to respond to that there completely. So he will move over to the right hand side. We do see some Marines and Marauders going to load up to the north. And they're also going to come over to the left now and maybe drop in towards this 4th base again. PartinG once again recognizing this, or just feeling that this might be what's happening. This one Stalker spotting it. One of those medevacs is so low, and there is only 4 medevacs left now, and they're all full of units. So any medevac that actually goes down is now going to be very costly, as we have back at home so few units from Coffee, and that's the issue, right? I mean, he's just not had enough economy throughout this off of one command center to rebuild. And so as PartinG comes in here to deny the one remaining base, Coffee's not going to have anything left. He's going to see these medevacs will actually find a way in, but there's the High Templar ready to feed back. And that's obviously what Coffee is going to start moving away from. One feedback drops, the other two drop as well. And that's going to be the end of this here. PartinG continuing to push in on the other side of the map. GG, PartinG takes the 2-1 victory.